and welcome. My name is Dennis and it's workshop time, and today I will be unboxing this package from eBay. It's a record number 43, small plough. I've been looking for it for quite a while. They get crazy expensive sometimes, at least where I live. We're also going to do a setup and use. So if you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing. So let's get started. So as you can see, the packaging is really nice. You can't hear it, but I do shake it to let you know there's nothing moving around, no metal on metal, so it's a really nice packaging. And that's generally what I seem to be getting a lot lately. I've been buying on eBay for about 5 years, from Canada, the US and England mostly, also some Japanese stuff. And for the last 2 years the packaging has been pretty much really good from all the places that I've bought from. I also thought we'd look at a little bit of history about the plane. They started production back in 1934 and it ran all the way to 1978. They didn't change a lot in that time. Originally, back in 1934, it had a one-arm fence design instead of what it has now. They changed the design in 1935 to a two-arm bridge fence design, and they made the palm rest wider. A lot of people think they did that to make room for the cheaper number 40. Also, actually the only other change they made to the design all the way up to 1978, when they stopped production, was the thumb screws. They were changed for round knurled screws. So you couldn't buy this plane anywhere else than Record. They came out with it in 1935 and they probably patented it. I don't know if that's true or not, but I would if I were them. And if that's true, I think patent ran about 15 years back then. That would bring us into the 50s, and perhaps the hand planes weren't that used when we got into the 50s. Maybe some power tools took over big machines and stuff. But today, as of late 2023, Veritas actually started making a version of it. I'll put it up on the screen now so you can see it. And it's probably, knowing Veritas, I do own quite a few Veritas items, so I'm pretty sure it's an enhanced version of it. So I put up a small sheet so we can look at the pricing for these. These are June 29 prices, and there were only 5 available records at the time on eBay, and the only one that had the same finish as the one I have is costing around £98. I'm gonna do pounds for this because the prices are in pounds. I paid 63 for mine, and there's one that wasn't as nice, that's about 72, and the Veritas is 138. But as I said, the prices have come down. So I decided to show a little bit of the sharpening process. When it's old blades that needs a lot of rehab and so on, I usually use the diamond stone. I do have some water stones that I actually prefer using, but for this I'll just use the diamond stone. I'm just going to show a little bit. I also have a tarmac in the back that I use if it's really bad, but these weren't that bad, and they were small, so I think I used 3 minutes for the fastest one and about 10 minutes for the one that was worst. So the last thing to do is the setup, and the iron just goes into a groove or a slot, and you just put it down on a piece of board, and you can move it a little back and forth, but there's no micro adjustment on this one. There's 2 knurled knobs. You loosen that and you can set the bridge fence. That's your desired depth from the edge, and the last thing is the depth of cut, and that's on the other side of the plane. I don't think I'm gonna show it here, but that's the only thing you can set up. I'm also gonna put in some metrics about the plane, and I'll let you enjoy the use in peace. played around with it a bit, and I love it. To me, it's worth the cost that I paid for it. Paying the surplus for the Veritas is too much for me. But if you live in Canada or the States, you probably won't see that kind of prices. But yeah, and if you live in England, you can probably pick these up a lot cheaper too. So it depends on where you live. But for me, the price I paid, I think it's gorgeous. There's a little bit of rust. I'm gonna give it a light clean, and that's it. I'm not gonna do overly much to it. This is not the way planes usually look when I get them. I'll just show you. We can take this one. This is a restoration that's gonna come at some time, but at some point. But this is the usual condition for me. So I know this is one is broken. I just hope they haven't screwed in it and broken it, ruined it. But I'll see when I get to it. That's the usual condition. The other thing is I've tested this on engineering materials too, but I didn't record it. So this is plywood, and because plywood is veneered and it runs in opposite directions, you're always gonna cut across the grain. And that means that these will need to be cleaned up. If it's for a draw bottom, like I plan to use these on most of the time, maybe I'll find some other uses for it. I probably will, just as an excuse to use it. But you will need to clean it out afterwards. Now, it's not that big a deal. Not to me anyway. Because I don't think I'll be using this anywhere where it will be that visible. But yeah. I also tried MDF, which turned out really well. I mean, a lot. I expected this to break apart, turn into dust, so on. I got these. I'll just try and get close enough for you to see these really nice shavings. And I mean, I could do them thinner or thicker, I don't know. This was just the setting that it had. So it can totally do engineering materials. So people who say that it can't, well, I've just shown you that again. The only thing is that when you do engineering materials, I think I read somewhere that the blade dulls quite fast. These old blades anyway. But I've been working on a new blade for a Bedrock number 4, because the original blade, and it is the original Sweetheart blade in it, and it's very short, so it's gonna go in this one at some point, and I'm gonna save the other blade for if I ever sell it. But I have spares from this, so I'm gonna make a 6mm cutter for this one, because there's nothing fancy about it. It just needs to reach the point where I can push this in. There's nothing after this point, so this piece is big enough, and I intend to make a 6mm blade out of it. So if you want to see that, let me know. So I hope you like what you see. That's it for now. If there's something else you want to know about, put it in the comments. I'll have a look. And otherwise, I hope you have a good one. Bye.